It seems to me like society obsesses with the negative portrayal of black men. And I know in 2018 we got Black Panther, but is that enough? Enough to counteract all the misconstrued depictions of black men and black women through multiple forms of media? From the news to music videos, books to cartoons, representation matters when it's the right representation. And judging by the looks that I get when I'm walking through a neighborhood, or how I know people who look like me get killed by those who are there to protect.
Remember, we only kill black people.
The image of black people needs rebranding. But before attempting such an ambitious task, we first have to understand it. So let's start from the beginning. So I knew if I really wanted to find the source of this problem, it was going to require a lot of reading. Not something I really looked forward to, but somebody had to do it. So I recently read Ibram X. Kendi's book, Stamped from the Beginning. He's not a sponsor. In it, he traced racist beliefs as they traversed through time, evolving as it went, but never really straying too far from its origin. Now with that out of the way, let me ask the question I'm sure you're all wondering. How far back do we have to go? Well, roughly 600 years to Europe. Portugal to be exact. It was here we can find the man who Kendi dubs as the world's first racist. Alright, I know this is going to be a bit of a history lesson, but I'll try my best not to make it boring. The year is 1415. The one thing all history books do mention is that Europeans conquered everybody. The Italians, Portuguese, French, Dutch, and British were spreading their reach through the majority of the known world. But Prince Henry of Portugal found himself jealous of the wealth of the Muslims in Morocco, so he convinced his father, King John, to capture the main Muslim trading depot on the northeastern tip of Morocco. He stole their gold and took their Africans as human property. But capturing people was normal back then, so the title of world's first racist shouldn't go to him. It would go to an obedient commander in Prince Henry's military order of Christ. A man by the name of Gomes Eanes de Zurara. And he made sure the people he represented were heralded as great. Zurara would eventually complete his book, which would become the world's first defense of African slave trading. It was called The Chronicle of the Discovery and Conquest of Guinea. In it, Zurara brags about the Portuguese being early in enslaving Africans from the Western Sahara Cape. But then he upped his bragging by expressing how it made Portugal different from the Spanish and Italians. After all, they were still enslaving Eastern Europeans. The Portuguese now saw enslaving people as missionary work. And Zurara claimed that it would help civilize and Christianize the African savages. African people weren't savages, but that wouldn't help his narrative. His selling point was that the Portuguese were enslaving Africans for the supposed purpose of saving their wretched souls. And so he successfully framed the enslavement of Africans as a noble cause. Pause. Now most of us feel like we know what happens next. Europeans came over to Africa, carried a bunch of Africans over to the Americas, and sold them into slavery. But there's still one part of the story that people still get confused by. Did the Africans sell themselves into slavery? Or were they coerced into slavery? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll leave mine in the next video. Ooh, and lastly, if you found any of this interesting, make sure to go out there, try and do your own research, and then together we'll change the narrative. Peace.
Telling beats.
Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right?
I can't call them if you don't open the door.
Why can't you?
Because I will not put my...
Use your phone. It's in your lap right there.
I just don't want to put my hands down. I'm really sorry.
You just really wrong.
No. I've just been wasting many videos of problems.
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right? All the videos you've seen, have you seen white people get killed?